Hello everybody, welcome once again to a Technology Tell Apple channel video. Today we are recapping day 2 of CES 2015. It will be our final day as sadly we return to our homesteads tomorrow morning.
The show continues on for one more day here in Las Vegas, but since we were here before the show and went to a lot of press conferences, we managed to see a lot of companies, especially some that we had seen at Macworld previously, so we followed up with a couple of our favorites. We'll be giving them some coverage and taking a look at their new products.
Yep. I will talk about a couple of the ones that have products on the way, but we don't obviously have samples yet. They're not available. Moshi has an excellent speaker system coming out soon called the Spacia. Really nice wood cabinet, has some really good sound. I was able to get a good demo of it in one of the meeting rooms, sort of away from the show floor, and hear it for a bit, and it's something to watch out for. We did run some press on it earlier on the website, so you can look that up, but also check it out in Moshi and keep an eye out for that. Looks like a really good AirPlay speaker system.
And as you can probably tell, we sound a little bit hoarse. We have been shouting over about what feels like 10 million other attendees on the show floor.
Yeah.
I actually stopped by a booth of an audio company that I found first at CE Week a couple of years ago, Audio Technica. And the main product line that they were introducing here is their Sport line, which is a series of mainly earbuds, some in-ear, and a couple of over-ear designs for working out. And one of the things that I found really cool is that they actually give you a choice of earbud styles, some of which are designed to allow in ambient noise. So if you're working out outside, you want to hear maybe people who are coming up behind you, if you're jogging on a bike path. But they also offer a complete selection of sound isolating tips. So if you're working out in a gym and you've got 10 other cardio machines running next to you, you can actually cut that noise. So on the show floor, I actually got a chance to try them out, and I was actually able to listen to the music or hear the music that I was listening to, even with all of the other folks talking behind me and other booths that had sound set up. One other cool feature that I wanted to point out about their Sport line, and they actually sent me home with a pair to test out, so stay tuned for our review. They've actually designed the cable in an asymmetric way, so the cable runs from your iPod or whatever else it is that you're listening to, and instead of splitting off into a Y, it actually splits off asymmetrically on the headset. So if you take them out and set them on your shoulders, gravity will actually keep your earbuds in place on your shoulder rather than having them slide off. So obviously with most headphones, you have to hook them in something or run them through your shirt to keep them in place. So that's actually going to come in real handy when I get back to the gym after we make it home from Vegas.
I will not be going back to the gym, but I am going to stick with speakers for a minute. I want to talk about iHome. As you can see, we have our iHome flask here. This is an actual flask. It is empty, not because we drank it, but because it was never filled with anything. But iHome has an entire range of speaker systems, pretty much anything you want. They'll have some Bluetooth speakers that light up for lighting effects. If you want pure audio, they're aiming towards that too. They do have a speaker system that is designed to look like a flask, hence the promotional item here that we have. One of them even has like a really nice leather back to it, like a nice flask would have. So there's a lot to look forward there too. They still have some lightning docks for those of you that like to use alarm clock docks and actually charge your phone at night, stick it up there and use it. You can get those. But like most companies, they're making a push almost entirely into Bluetooth. Big reason for that is when a lot of the lightning docks were coming out, people were designing their speaker systems and docks specifically for Apple products. Now, because there's such homogeny in the industry, and people don't just have Apple products. You may have someone who's got an iPad, but then also has a Samsung phone. With Bluetooth, you can connect it both ways, so they're starting to focus more on that. I actually prefer having the Lightning dock. I use it that way. I have an alarm clock on my app an alarm clock app on my phone that I use, and I like to dock it and charge it and make sure I know where my phone is when I wake up in the morning and that it's going to be at 100%. But most of the Bluetooth ones will also have USB output, so you can just plug it in that way, keep it on the side.
And I've actually found more speakers that I'm using wirelessly because I have different music apps on different devices, obviously all Apple, but sometimes I'm listening to streaming music on my iPad. Most of the docks don't support that because the iPad is too heavy. So while Kirk was getting empty flasks or emptying his flask on the show floor, I actually took some time to just wander around and check stuff out. Obviously CES, the focus is much broader than just Apple products. So there were some really cool things, but I think one of the coolest things that I found was a company that I actually can't really figure out how to describe. They make a machine that takes green coffee beans, roasts them, grinds them, and then actually brews you a pot of coffee, but the hardware is not really what the company is focused on. They're really focusing on connecting coffee consumers directly to farmers. So I do a lot of traveling. One of the things I like to do when I travel is try the coffee wherever I'm going and bring some home. There's really great coffee all over the world, but a lot of times it's just not available once you get back home. So you go through what you've brought with you and then you're done. This company is actually launching. They are called Bona Verde. I'm going to follow them on our appletell feed so you can find them. And it seems like a really cool project that is socially aware. They're making sure that not just like fair trade coffee, but that you're actually paying a living wage to farmers. So they had a pretty interesting pitch.
On the other hand, I would like to talk about Creepy Robot Woman at Toshiba's. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about Creepy Robot Woman. I have film of Creepy Robot Woman. Let's watch it.
Look how expressive I am. In the future, I hope to take up the challenge of a wide assortment of jobs, such as a multilingual receptionist, counselor, newscaster, cheerleader, entertainer, or many others. I will be very happy if people communicating with me feel comforted. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy Toshiba booth. See you again.
Okay, that's hard to get through. I need to go to my happy place. Do we have more video of Bliss Lights?
Yeah, I think we do.
Let's run it. So nice. So nice.
Much better than the creepy robot lady.
Yeah, I think I'll let my technology just be laser lights from now on and not so much the uncanny valley kind of thing. I want my robots to look like robots, not people. I want them to have antennas and I want their mouths to glow when they talk.
So there were definitely robots on the show floor, none that would have made you happy,
No, but
quite a few that can vacuum your house for you.
Make me happy. Okay, so anything else you want to discuss about the show, or this was our first for Aaron and I, not for the Apple channel or for Technology Tell, of course, but personally our first trip to CES. We normally did the Macworld beat, and since there is no Macworld anymore, we came and thrust ourselves into this world, and it is quite a different world than what we're used to. There's no real sense of joy here. There's a good sense of discovery, but the camaraderie of Macworld is gone, and that makes sense because this is a business thing. People are selling products, they're showing off products, looking for buyers. It's not looking specific for a specific audience like Macworld always was. Sorry, Macworld/iWorld,
as it was known at the end. I think there are simply more communities here at Macworld. Everybody was focused on pretty much the same products. There was definitely a difference between the old school Mac OS X products at the Macworld iWorld and then like the iLounge area, which was all of Apple's new stuff. That's where a lot of the really flashy development happened. I mean, here there's how many hotels? There's a multi-acre convention center and at
Yeah.
least 4 hotels that are showing off.
Not one of which you can get to directly in any way, shape, or form.
If you ever do come to CES, bring some very comfortable walking shoes. I think the point that you mentioned, Kirk, it wasn't so much about distributors connecting to their consumers. There's a lot of business-to-business sales. So there are a lot of people who run like mail-order magazines or
Yep.
computer shops that are actually looking for products that they can sell. Whereas at Macworld, they were selling directly to customers. So there was a lot more one-to-one connection. I think until Macworld, iWorld comes back from its hiatus, I think the closest thing that we can come to is it has to come back.
It's never coming back.
Until it does come back, or if it never does come back, I think you can come.
It's reborn in a different way, perhaps.
Maybe.
Something else will surface. It will not be Macworld.
But I think until then, you can probably find some of that camaraderie at your local Apple store, which actually may be one of the things that helped to hasten the demise of Macworld as we knew it.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And you know what? There is one thing that I did like about this. One of my favorite things about Macworld was the sense of discovery that you got. I mean, we set up a lot of meetings ahead of time and planned to meet with a lot of people that we don't get to see that often. A lot of the developers that we work with. But just roaming the show floor, you could find some really great things every now and again that you weren't expecting, and you definitely did get that here at CES. You just saw we were both big fans of the Bliss lights,
Right.
and some other items too that we'll continue to cover throughout the week. We have a lot to show you. Some great iPhone cases, of course, as I always like to talk about.
And once again, even though Apple was not here, a large number of displays on the show floor were dedicated to Apple accessories.
Yeah, and so there's certainly a lot to see. But I think that'll wrap it up. Our voices are going, and we should too. So thank you once again for joining us. We will certainly be back, next year. But keep tuning into the Apple channel. We'll have plenty to talk about between now and then.